So I got turned down for Africa. One of my friends went to, which was just one place for Africa. My friend got it, and I didn't like her. Pat Roski. I told her recently I hated her after that, but we've reconciled since. And then, so I went to Sumter, South Carolina, and it just changed my whole. It just changed everything for me. How I saw the sisters working with the poor. I mean, that was really. And I was signed up to go to, I got my acceptance from nursing school, from Jubal.
Okay.
I was real excited because it was like in May now, and I was going home, coming back home and going to Jubal in September. And one of the sisters said to me, "Is that really what you think you should do?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I'm so excited they accepted me. And she said, "I don't think so. Think about it." And that kind of like, just that little question kind of, with everything I had lived and experienced and how I saw Sister Peggy, who's gone to God now, we'd go out at night with food to some of these really shacks around the area, and it just was something I had never seen, living here, going to Mount St. Mary, and that was really, I just felt that that's what I needed to do. I actually went to the South. I'm thinking I'm going to do something for a year. I'm going to help some people, and then I'm going to be done. I'm going to live my life.
I did that. I entered for a year.
Okay.
So that I could. It was sort of like nagging.
Yeah, exactly.
Nagging at the back of my head. And I said, I want to do this. So if I could go and get rid of the nagging.
That's right, exactly.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get this off my back. This Peggy we spoke of, she and I went through grade school, high school, and college
One of our
together.
sisters who's since deceased, but she's a beautiful woman.
And we had this, maybe about half of this room, in dorms at Mount St. Mary. And one bed was here and one bed was there. And we were in them the first night we entered, August 15th. And during the night sometime, I said to her, "Peggy, are you going to stay here?" And she said, "It's the middle of the night. At least stay until morning." So I said, I could do that. I could stay until morning. And then I stayed until the next day. And stayed until the next day. And so I gave it until, I don't know, maybe half a year or something. And by that time, I didn't want to leave. I just didn't want to leave. I was doing something that was fulfilling, rewarding to me, helping people. That's what I did.
It's so funny that you both said you didn't want to be a nun at first.
No,
I know. That was what I was saying
Didn't want to
today.
be.
I was like, why do you think that to say?
Like there's like a nagging, like you need to do something. I knew you need to do something for others.
There's something about it.
There's something about I just don't want to go to school and just go to. You just felt that I wanted to do something for others, but I definitely did not want to be a nun.
Well, I knew I could do something for others without being a nun.
Yeah, exactly. But interesting, just aside about this Pat Roski, I haven't seen her in years. I spent 20 years actually in Africa and Brazil, and I came back in 1990 from Brazil, and I hadn't seen her at all. And one day, all this time, now that was 40 years ago that she went to Africa, I got a phone call. Pat Roski, do you remember me? I said, yeah, I hated you. Of course I remember you. Of course I remember you. She said, well, I have to tell you. I said, do you know that I couldn't go to Africa because of you? But I said, that's okay. I've already gone. I said, how are you? And she said, well, I became a nurse. She said, I went to Rwanda. She became a nurse. She said, I went to Rwanda for a year. And I helped in the dispensary there. She said, I came home. She said, I became a nurse. I married.
So she did what you were gonna do.
She did everything. She's like, this is your life. Yeah. And then she said, and I had 2 sons. I have 2 sons. I'm divorced. She said, and I need to work till I'm 65. She said, but now this is 40 years later. Not a day goes by that I don't think of Rwanda. Do you think I could go back?
Not a day goes by
that I don't think of Rwanda. Do you think I could go back when I'm retired? to help out. Been amazing.
And she went there for a year.
She went there for a year, right after high school. That's
And
when
she's
the
still-
Peace
yeah, she
Corps
was, what,
just
18?
Now she's my age, a few years older than 18. In her
Just a few. Just a
in
few.
her 60s. But isn't that amazing? I mean, really, that not a day goes by. We're in high school now. This was in high school. We would go to the inner city. I don't even know where, and we would tutor African American kids that were having a hard time after school program. And I have to say that really impressed me too, because I had never had any contact with them. You know, we were not rich at all by any means, but I had never really had any contact with inner city African American kids. They were beautiful kids, but that didn't have any help at home to do their homework and stuff. But that was here in Buffalo.
Yeah, I know a few friends who are education majors who still do that.
Yeah,
Still, yeah.
It was a really experience. I think it was good for the kids, but it was certainly good
Yes.
for us. It opened us to that whole world.
That's what I felt about that God's Peace Corps that we had.
Yeah.
It was, the purpose of it was to help the children, but it helped us so much more, I think.
Yeah.